When I was young, my folks didn't go to church at all, but when I was about 4 years old, a friend of my mom's was talking to her, and of course, you know, when you're poor and new relationships, have a couple kids already, husband and wife relationships aren't all that good. You know, they would argue from time to time, and anyway, this friend of my mom's was telling her about the church there at Newburgh, and told her that, you know, it would be a good thing if they'd try it out. And so Mom and Dad started going to church there at Newburgh. It wasn't very long then that they were going regularly, and my dad accepted Christ, and I noticed things were a lot better in our home because of that. Church really made life a lot more peaceful in our family, and how we were. It was just so much better lifestyle than not being a part of a church. My mom, who was always good about sharing how much Jesus loved us, and so I accepted Christ when I was 8 years old. I read the Bible every day now, and the more and more I read, the more and more I realize how much God and Jesus in my life is everything. I mean, He provides everything. There's nothing that I have that's not as a result of Jesus. I don't necessarily look happy all the time, but I have a peace in knowing that no matter what happens to me through the day, He is in control. I haven't had a lot of trials. I've been fortunate in life, you know. Early on, I did, you know, I mean, finding the right person to be, you know, my wife, it seemed like it took forever. You know, when I was in college, considering mission work and that kind of thing, and that was caused some anxiety in my life at the time. You know, when you get to thinking about what you can do and what the Lord might ask you to do, you know, of course, I remember going ahead and signing up for summer missions. That would have been a 3-month thing, and I thought about, well, now, you know, how am I going to go to school next fall if I don't make enough money to go to college? And also I thought, you know, at that time I was a country boy, and I didn't want to do inner city work, but I just knew that He was going to call me to do inner city work. And it turned out that when I got my call to the field that I was going to, I was in a county park up in Michigan, which, you know, was a dream of mine. And it was so neat. We spent the summer there in that park doing Bible school for kids that would come in there for 2 or 3 weeks, and it was just everything I could dream about. And so, you know, it's been my experience that when we turn things over to the Lord, He usually doesn't ask us to do stuff that we're not capable of doing. He just wants us. You know, no matter where I went when I was younger, I went to Cleveland, Ohio, to welding school when I was 18, and it's the first time I'd ever been out of Missouri other than on a trip. When I went there, God was already there ahead of me. I started looking for a church, and I wound up at a police station not very far from where I was going to be living, and I asked them where I could find a Baptist church, and they said, they wasn't too sure. But then I found a General Baptist church there in Cleveland, Ohio, and they just took me in, and I was able to work with some high school kids, and we spent weekends together, and I was there during the Thanksgiving holidays, and a family took me in, and we had Thanksgiving dinner together and that kind of thing. And I guess sometimes people thought I might be holier than, you know, I came across as being too strong, I think. But I went to Officers Candidate School, and after I got out of there, I was assigned to Fort Leonard Wood, and they put me on, said I was on the God Squad. I was in charge of getting, or making sure that young men was able to get to chapel. The thing that I've struggled with for years is relationships that our young people get into. I see so much divorce and how children suffer from divorce. Excuse me. I just, you know, if I see so many young people get into relationships that without thinking about their relationship to the Lord, and they, you know, start dating and without thinking about Jesus in their life and what He can mean to them, and without remaining pure. And it doesn't take long till you get to thinking that Jesus don't love you anymore, even though He does. You know, don't lose sight of your faith, and you know, stay close to your family, because they do care for you, and you know, stay away from the wrong crowd. But you don't have to concentrate on staying away from the wrong crowd if you're with the right people. To see our young people sing and sometimes give their testimony, to lead in worship, it's just a real blessing, you know, of mine to come to, well, say youth weekend or whatever, and see our young people be church. You know, things get busy, they get involved in athletics and stuff like that, but I think we need to keep in mind that you know, this relationship with the Lord and our church is as important as any of those things, more important as far as I'm concerned. You don't have the light on now. You know, some of us have father wounds and some of us have mother wounds, and all alone wounds, and so you know, I come to realize that you know, we're all in this together. None of us have totally arrived, and you know, I always share that you know, even though here I am 67. Almost 68, everything's not perfect with me, and so I really feel that it's important for us as older folks to share with somebody that's younger, and then, like I say, we haven't arrived, so there's even seniors of mine that can help me as I mature in Christ. It makes it easier when we know that we're not alone in this struggle through life. And of course, we're all sinners, and We all fall short of what God created us to be, but through prayer and through fellowship with other Christians, I think it makes us stronger. What does Jesus mean to me? A constant companion, someone that really cares for me, that's been through all the things, the trials and the happy times that I've been through, knows me inside and out, which sometimes isn't very comfortable, but that's what Jesus is to me. My name is Dale Feeler, and I am second.